I'm Jannah Handy, co-owner of Black Market Vintage, she, her pronouns.
And I'm Kiyanna Handy, co-founder, wife, partner in Life Love and Vintage, Black Market Vintage here, also she, her pronouns. When you're stewarding a community, you are inhabiting it with a sense of intention, with a sense of goal, not necessarily ownership, but a sense of belonging and a purpose. And so when I think about us stewarding in our community, it is keeping our mission forward, which is preserving space, preserving the objects that tell Black stories, and making room for them.
Most definitely. And putting those two pieces together, that idea of us being partners in Life, Love, and Vintage, but also us being stewards in the community, is this idea of like, you steward the things that you love, and being a steward of something is just showing care and love.
We're here in the shop today, and it's beautiful every time we walk in the doors, and we really wanted this space to exemplify the richness and the fullness of Black experience. And so we opened it because we wanted to have the vintage shop that we wanted to shop at. Like, this is where I want to shop. Yeah. And Toni Morrison says, if there's a book you want to see in the world, write that book. This is our book, our love letter to Black Brooklyn, to the diaspora, etc.
Definitely. Yeah, and it really just started to get exhausting. We would go to dozens and dozens of antique stores, estate sales, flea markets, and it would be so hard to find reflections of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so we can spend hours and maybe we bring 2 items back that maybe tell a piece of our Black story. And so we were just like, what is the Blackest antique store we can dream up? Mm-hmm. And this is that dream. We started this business because we wanted it to be a physical, a metaphysical, a spiritual respite, resource, archive. And so we really wanted this space to be a mirror, a welcoming space, a space where folks can be emboldened by history and what they find in history. And so we hope that folks, when they're just walking to the corner store, the bodega over there, that they see something cool in the window and just stop in. And so we want to be that resource where it's historical in nature, it's just curiosity in nature, but also just, you know, being able to walk to the laundromat down the other corner and have this resource of a vintage store just, you know, between those two is cool.
And similarly, when I think about resource, I think about like serving a purpose, solving a problem, bringing a solution. And so when I think about this business, it is actively like doing a service. When I think about archival work, period, you're doing a service to not just the people that are present in that moment in time, you're doing a service to our ancestors and to those who have come before us and to the historical record. So those are the ways that I consider this work a service to our broader community and the historical record by which we want those who come after us to look to and to see that we were all here. I think about community as a form of connection between people.
For us, it's been so important to create spaces, whether that be online, whether that be here on the corner of Marcus Garvey and Decatur.
I don't necessarily see art as a separate entity. I see art as inextricably linked and connected to all that we are, all that we have been, the human experience, particularly the Black experience. Art is how we talk and how we have been able to communicate and how we have been able to self-determine and create community. So when I think about art, I think about the fullness of our existence and our ability to survive.
Yeah. The idea that you can, you know, use a different kind of medium to express something that you see or express a feeling or experience. I just love that, you know, bookbinding can be art, t-shirt making can be art, mm-hmm. poster making can be art, but it's really about that intention and creation.
And I think one of the cool things about this space is folks come in sometimes who are local, new folks that we've never met, and they're like, is this a gallery? Can I buy these? Can I touch these things? So it makes me think about how we interact with what we know to be art. And when you think about the fact that like all of the objects that might tell your life story and the folks who became you, their story might be considered art is just really, really interesting, like to live amongst it and to create it. I'm really fascinated by that.
How can you see beyond the things that are in front of you in order to create new realities and new futures? And so that's something, seeing beyond is a chapter in the book, that our forthcoming book that's about that, but it's just like that it's outside of just repurposing items and upcycling items, how do we recontextualize some of the stories and narratives of our history to really inform our future?
Creativity is so much a part of being a small business owner, Bed-Stuy or outside of Bed-Stuy, just how you have to maneuver systems, make new systems, implement new systems, adapt, subvert, like just adapt and find your way and your lane. And so creativity is all around us, and sometimes it's a really conscious, intentional practice, and I think we're always just kind of, we're in doing it. We're being creative.
When we were first looking for a shop location, we both were born. Okay, New Jack Swing. All right. They really backed up too. I'm like, oh. Okay, this Teddy Riley.
The joint.
When we were first, looking for our shop, we were trying to figure out the best location. We're both born and raised Flatbush, Brooklyn, all day, every day. But when we thought about where culture was, where our people were, where our contemporaries are, honestly, where the happenings are, I mean, it's Bed-Stuy. And there's so many Black entrepreneurs here. It was so important for us to be a part of that number. It was important for us to be a part of that ecosystem that we've been able to build amongst all the other businesses in the area. But Bed-Stuy, I think about the location that was here was a Cleaners before we moved in. Bright, turquoise, awning, Mr. Garrett's Cleaners. Well, it's just Garrett's Family Cleaners, but everybody knew him as Mr. Garrett. And so once we got the location, I realized, wait, I know Mr. Garrett's Cleaners because my church, we would drive back and forth. Concord Baptist Church, back over to Flatbush, back, and we would drive up and down Marcus Garvey. And so that idea of it being a thoroughfare, but also, this is where we were born and raised. This is where our stomping ground, even though we were over in Flatbush, this is where we have the roots and have the community. And so being able to build and invest in a space that invested in us as children was so important.
Ditto. I don't even have anything to add after that.